the next question came from a nail professional in Budapest, Hungary, who asked me this. I've heard that when calcium is micronized, it can absorb better, and that's good for the nails, which is why it's added to some nail products. This sounds fishy to me. Is it true? Well, it sounds fishy to me too. I've talked about nail calcium claims before, but not about micronized calcium, so let's explore that. I've also talked to marketers who make these kind of claims and asked them why. They say this: calcium makes for strong bones and healthy teeth, so it must be good for nails. What? That's their fact-based evidence to support their claims? I don't think this qualifies as evidence, but instead it's more like wishful thinking. There is no evidence that calcium is good for the nail plate growth, health, or strength. Very small amounts of calcium are found when the nail plates are tested, but calcium is only found on the surface of the nail, so it likely comes from the water we wash our hands with. Calcium can dissolve in water, and it's a naturally occurring component of tap water, but this just demonstrates that even a single molecule of calcium dissolved in water can't penetrate the upper layers of the nail plate. A single molecule is as small as you can get. So if they don't penetrate, how could a so-called micronized particle that contains 1,000 or more molecules, how could that penetrate? Micronized calcium is a solid particle of calcium that has been ground down to a very fine powder. The finest talcum powders are also micronized. Very tiny dust particles that float in the air, they're micronized as well. Micronized simply means that the powder could be as small as 1 micron, which is 1/1000th of a millimeter. That's 1/1000th of a millimeter. That's pretty small, I'll admit. But that's still at least 1,000 times bigger than it would be if it were dissolved into water. So the claim that micronized calcium absorbs makes no sense. And wouldn't it just be better to wash our hands rather than using micronized calcium? Of course it would be. But since calcium adds no demonstrated benefits to the nail plate, this certainly is a case where size really doesn't matter. So my advice is to never be impressed by any nail product just because they claim to contain calcium of any type.